Okay, here's a lower adit at the Victorine mine. I believe this was an older mine that once they dug the upper tunnels, this got incorporated into the same claim or whatever. I forget what this was called, this particular mine entrance here, but this one's got a little bit of water in it coming out of it. Not much. Okay, we can go in here and just take a quick look. I don't think I'm going to explore this particular mine. There's a little bit too much water in here, and I know this mine is really old, but yeah, water in a mine. I do see other footprints here in the mud, but I just don't think it's wise to go in here when there's water. Try to avoid this if I can. I'm gonna have to step across here. Let me turn my light on. Okay, here's a shot looking down the adit from just inside the portal, and some water here and there. So I'll go up here just a little bit further and see if it dries out any. Okay, a little further inside the tunnel here. There's still water. You can see it really flowing here in front of me, right here, and this coming out here, out the tunnel. Yeah, this looks pretty sketchy. I'll go a few feet further in and check it out, but I think I'm going to pass on this one. This is one of the creepiest mine tunnels I've ever been in, just because of how dilapidated it is, and all these chains hanging down from the overhead, and there's a shot looking down the tunnel even further, but still pretty wet. And taking a look around here back at the entrance, which is there. Okay, here's a shot looking back towards the entrance. I'm a little bit further in, and looking down the tunnel here. I don't know why that one chain is swinging back there. Don't know if you can see that in the video or not. Yeah, this mine definitely has a very spooky vibe to it. So I'm going to head back out and check out the other stuff that's here. This is just too wet, too muddy. And obviously something is making the chains swing. So time to get the hell out of here. A lot of water everywhere. And there's a shot looking back towards the entrance. Okay, I'm standing at the bottom of the tailings for the Victorine mine. This is looking straight up the mountainside at all these tailings. And the Victorine mine is up there on top of the ridge. You can't see from down here, obviously. And the Horton mine is over here to the right. And that's where I'm headed. And just a real quick shot here, looking around at the canyon. Pretty spectacular scenery up here. Okay, the Horton mine still has some water coming out of it. You can see it kind of pulled up here outside, and here's the portal. So let's go check this out, see if it's any drier than it was a year ago when I was last here. Okay, just a few feet farther inside the portal, you can see the yellow ventilation tubing that's still suspended from the overhead. And there's a shot looking down the tunnel very dark, foreboding tunnel, that's for sure. Okay, you can see here in the overhead that the fencing they put up to hold back the rock is really rusted and corroded, and is even broken in some spots, like right here. And some of the strapping, metal strapping, like right over there, has also come out. So this tunnel is very sketchy, and it still has a very, very creepy vibe. But we'll keep going forward and see what we can find out about this tunnel. Okay, I just crossed over to where I thought the tunnel was drier, but you can see my footprint there. I sank in. That's probably a good 4 inches or so, 5 inches in the mud here. So I'll see how far I can get in this tunnel. It's still pretty wet and pretty muddy. And this is how far I've come in. There's the portal. Okay, I'm further in than I was a year ago. And that's how far I've come. This tunnel, the Horton mine, was actually built, I did some research on this a few months ago, and this tunnel was dug in the late 1970s or early 80s, and it was used as a conveyor tunnel to get the ore out from the Victorine mine. It's about 900 feet higher on the mountain. And when I was up there at the Victorine mine a year ago, I noticed that there was outside the mine was a borehole that they had drilled, and I believe that is the ore pass that connects up with this tunnel. They dug that ore pass so they could dump the ore down it and then have it trammed out this tunnel out there to the outside. So this tunnel was simply a transport tunnel, and I heard it goes back 600 feet. And if I make it all the way to the back, we should be able to see the shaft coming down from above. That's about a 900-foot shaft going up to the surface at the Victorine mine. Okay, the tunnel continues forward there, and I've reached the first little alcove here off to the left, right here, a little dugout area. And you can hear down there what sounds like a lot of water dropping or falling into the tunnel. Don't know if the video is picking that up or not. Okay, right here in the tunnel, the water's a little bit deeper, and it seems like underneath the surface there's a hard substance. It must be some sort of mineral buildup. You can sort of see it there around that rock. It's like a mineral, kind of a buildup, and that just continues. And the water is flowing. I can see it right there. So it's not stagnant water, which can be a problem in abandoned mines if it's stagnant. Better to have flowing water. And there's the portal and all those chains. Okay, we're getting deeper. Here is some kind of backfilled area on the other side of the tunnel. More ventilation tubing. And there's a lot of water up here coming in from somewhere. Well, I believe I've reached the end of the tunnel. I thought it was going to be a lot longer than this. I'd read 600 feet. Here's looking back at the portal. I don't know if that's 600 feet or not, but maybe more like 400. But I think the water is coming down the ore pass, the vertical shaft here at the end of the tunnel. So let me make my way over there with all this mud and check it out. Okay, right there's where the water's coming from, and right above that you can see the metal ore chute that is part of the ore pass coming down there at an angle. And that came down right over here to this horizontal section right here. And then the ore was probably dumped out into the waiting tram car, and then they would just haul it out the tunnel in these motorized tram cars to the portal. Okay, you can see some ladders there going up. There's one right there going up at an angle, and then there's one right above the ore chute right there. I don't know if there was a manway in the ore pass or not. There probably was. And that would probably go up about 800, 900 feet to the opening that's outside the Victorine mine. And right here is the end of the ore pass. You can see a grizzly in there, the bars, and that would hold back the rocks that were too big to fit through, while the smaller rocks would tumble through into the tram car that would wait right here, and then it would drive it right out the tunnel. They were motorized, kind of like a modified dump truck. And I'm not going to climb up these ladders and check all that out. It's too wet, too rusted. And